It has never been easier to destroy your mind by doing activities that are considered normal than it is today. That also makes it way harder to win and also enjoy it when you win. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about the destruction of deep thinking and how we're just meddling in the shallows. I will talk about what you lose when you're not able to do deep thinking anymore, and also will help you to solve that problem and gain and win back your deep thinking. The Shallows is a book written by Nicholas Carr, and this book scientifically explains how the human mind has gone from being a deep thinker, something that can delve deep into something and solve deep problems, to becoming a shallow mind that's just on the surface and has a way harder time to solve problems. And this is happening because the internet is shallow. So think about it. When you go on the internet, there are headlines everywhere trying to drag you in, clickbaity titles. When you watch videos, you watch short videos. Like, for example, you right now, you're just watching me, and you probably watched many other videos before this, and you will jump on to watch other videos. And you're even doing a good job watching YouTube. But if you watch TikToks, it's only like 15 seconds, and you go from watching a goat scream to a girl shaking her ass to like somebody making a table or something like that. And that makes your mind shallow because it's not able to dive deep into whatever specific thing that you're watching. This destroys your ability to think, because to solve big problems and to win and build businesses, be good at your career and be good at school, you have to sit for a long period of time and delve deep into a topic. And this is what is being destroyed in our society. Especially young people today that have grown up with this technology have their deep thinking abilities going from really deep to being really shallow. What you lose from this is obviously a lot. You lose the ability to do deep work. You lose the ability to do deep thinking. And you lose the ability to do all of these things for a long period of time. I remember when I started to lose this ability, I was maybe like 20 years old. I started to get more and more addicted to the internet, and that was also when the internet was becoming stronger and stronger. I remember I was running home and I was going to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy for maybe the 5th time. And I sat down, I put on the movie. I was so excited to see it again because I usually see it with a couple of years in between. And then I started getting bored. And yes, I've seen it before, but it wasn't that. I started to get a tingle that I wanted to check my phone or do something else. And I remember that moment of sadness when I realized that I was not able to watch my favorite trilogy anymore. And I lost then the connection to the world. So I decided that that was not going to be me. And I started to change what I was being in relation to consuming stuff on the internet. So what you're losing is the connection to the world around you and the connection with the things that you are involved in. So let's say, for example, that you're reading a book. You have to spend a lot of time reading that book. So you get to know the characters, you get to know the story, you get to know the world that is in the book. And then you get emotions attached to that that last for maybe a day or a week or a month. And you have to spend time to digest that. When you get a hobby, for example, you want to be good at painting, then you have to sit down for a long period of time and paint. So what you lose is the deep connection to the world around you, to have hobbies and interests, and also to start to really understand it on many multiple levels. Because in the internet world again, if you go back to that, we're just jumping around from headline to headline, from video to video, from concept to concept, from people to people. And we become shallow, not able to think deeply. I can't even imagine the young people today that don't have the ability to sit down and watch a movie because they're scrolling on TikTok or doing something else mindlessly on their phone or computer simultaneously. They don't have the ability to see the beauty and the magic of watching something like Lord of the Rings, like I also almost lost all those years ago. So what can we do about this? We can start to gain awareness of how we're using the internet around us and using the technology that we have in our lives. How can we do that? Well, if you go on the internet and for example, you want to watch YouTube, you can start to notice if you're watching mindlessly, just jumping from one thing to the next, or you're consciously trying to choose whatever you want to watch. So when you also go in or you want to read a newspaper or you want to go on Reddit or you want to learn about something, then actively choose what you're learning about and start to read on that. And if your choice is bad, that means that you don't like it that much, then try to continue a little bit reading that or watching that, so you train your muscle to not give up at the slight moment that you feel an urge to jump to something else. It is the abundance of choice that makes everything so meaningless when it comes to the internet. And we want to make it meaningful again. So by doing that and choosing where you spend your time, you're strengthening your focus muscle and making the internet meaningful again. Also, of course, spend a lot of time not being on the internet and consuming information. Start to consume information in the real world. So you can walk and you can look at plants and trees and birds and planes and cars and whatever you have in your surroundings. You can get to know people, sit with them, talk to them, make friends, work on yourself to make friends in the real world and have friends in the real world that you deeply get to know. So like you would just jump around from a TikTok video to the next, now instead sit down and really learn to get to know a new person. And that sounds hard, but that is what we need to develop. And before, that was the only thing we had. We can only get to know new people that way, and that was the only entertainment that we had aside from theaters and books. So develop that skill again. Get mindful of how you're consuming information, like you would get mindful of your diet. You wouldn't choose to eat junk food every single day, at every meal, every single day. You start to eat some green food and do the same with the consumption that you're doing online. If you want to learn from what I experienced doing a dopamine detox on and off for 6 years, then watch this video, and you can learn to do it yourself to better the relationship you have with technology. I'm Francis Drake. See you in another video. Goodbye.